Let's fucking go indeed. All right, the Discord has been notified. Tiggy just went to go perform a wrestling move on his roommate again.
In there.
Let's see here. Ooh, a little butterfly hat. I like that.
You like that little metamorphosis? Someone say.
Ooh, yeah. I see you.
Is that a FlyQuest hat, or is that just your hat with a butterfly on it?
This is my hat. One of my ex-girlfriends wanted this, picked it out for a Christmas a long, long time ago. Never got to give it to her, so joke's on her. My hat.
Yeah.
I think it looks better on you than... I don't even know what she looked like, but it would not have looked that good on her.
Agreed.
Are we allowed to ask questions about the merch?
Yeah.
I'm excited because I need that New Jersey, Marc. I need it before Worlds.
Oh, dude,
we did not get these until MSI was long over, so we
Yes. If I know that they're supposed to start shipping out like ASAP, so people should be getting them in hand by like next week.
Love it.
And I think we start playing on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, if I have to drive to LA right now, I'll do it. I got time over the weekend.
I need it hand delivered. I need
12 hours.
Yeah.
Send a carrier pigeon, a carrier cat, and we'll be good to go. All right, I just posted. If you guys wouldn't mind shooting a retweet on that or a repost on the X social media platform.
A repost on X.com.
Yeah. So everything's totally fine and cool. All right, I'm gonna start recording here. On this episode of Not Another Gaming Podcast, we welcome back on creative director for FlyQuest, Marc Urbino, friend of the program, soon to be friend in real life as soon as we get the invite out to HQ in LA, no big deal. We're going to be talking all things Worlds 2024. FlyQuest is ready to make the run of their lives, and we're going to be talking about all that and more on episode 407 of Not Another Gaming Podcast. Let's ride.
Hell yeah. Owl. Yeah, I mean... Well, as long as it's working. 100%. If anything, it'll play out in your favor.
Yo, welcome back to Not Another Gaming Podcast. It's your boy, Papa Dom. It's episode 407. We're back on these internet streets like we never left. 407 weeks in a row, your favorite gaming podcast could never, ever in their lives think about it. They could never fathom it. The same time every week, the same place. And you already know, we have just another banger. Worlds 2024 is underway. And we're just absolutely ready to go. Of course, if you hear a bald eagle screaming and fireworks popping off while you're loading into bronze or silver queue in League because you're all fired up for Worlds, and you see Uncle Sam's very own representative coming through, insta-locking Heimerdinger every single time. Amateur golf phenom, the Pedro Sanchez of military-based softball Tiggy Nation. How are you, sir?
I tell you, I'm fantastic. I might have to change the amateur status because you are looking at the returning, the now defending 607th ACS champions of the Luke Air Force Base Golf Intramural League right here today since this morning.
Damn.
Me and one of our civilians shot a 68, 3 birdies, 0 bogeys today to wipe the competition clean, and we are champions.
Wow.
Yet
wow. Back to back?
7 years since our first title, and we have brought it home, baby.
Wow. It's coming home, as they say. It's coming home. Q, thank you for the sub. Somebody banned Q because he's going to be rooting for G2 at Worlds. Somebody banned him. Banned him for 3 years. Thank you. Q, he lives in Scotland, so he's an EU guy. And of course, we always have illustrious guests, and this week is no different. Coming in hot, ready to go for Worlds, but he's not going. He doesn't have to worry about Worlds for like another week because FlyQuest is just that damn good. FlyQuest's first LCS trophy is in the books, and the next trophy, I don't even have to ask him the question because I already know that his favorite trophy is the next one. A producer, videographer, writer, creative storyteller, former esports awards panelist, amateur merch model on this very podcast, and creative director of FlyQuest. Please welcome back friend of the program, Marc Urbino.
Yes, sir. Glad to be back. I miss you guys a lot.
We miss you.
Think about you guys a lot, nearly every day. So I'm really grateful to be back on here.
Thank you. Well, thank you for coming back on. We know it's a crazy week. We know it's a crazy month, really. Brandskit, thank you for the follow. Yippee Muck. The people are screaming your name on these internet streets already. Q said, I've not watched or played League in months. Yeah, but you're still a filthy G2 fan, so you're going to time you out for 6 years.
My God.
This is an NA Forward podcast. This is
100%.
That's it. But we do love you, Q. Even though you put tuna on your pizza like a weirdo. That's literally. I wish I was joking, but yeah. So we're gonna just dive right into some current events. Usually we do a weekend recap, but we can kind of just dive right in. What's new, Marc? What's been the last couple days, the last couple weeks been? How's everything going at the FlyQuest mothership? What are the vibes like over there?
Vibes are good. I mean, winning the organization's first LCS championship it feels really good. It was all me. I did it. I won that damn thing. No, the vibes are really good. I think there's been since it's been like nearly 3 weeks now since the win.
Yep.
And I think just the amount of things that we've had to do kind of since then and in between then and Worlds is definitely ramped up because we won.
Yeah.
But I think it's just it's such an exciting opportunity to be able to deal with all of these things at once. I think we went in with really, really high expectations for this year. Just kind of wanted to see the roster really flourish, and I think especially coming into summer split there was a lot of conversation, a lot of doubt from external parties, and it was just cool to see the guys keeping their heads down, working hard, and eventually winning the whole thing. And probably the most LCS way I could ever imagine.
Yeah.
But yeah, vibes are good, energy's good. We're excited for next week.
Love to hear that, and I mean, yeah, I you guys need to just start. I think you got to lean into the Winions meme
100%.
And print the shirt in the FlyQuest font, on the same shirt. Just put Winions on there. Just lean into it. I mean, it's great to see it. Watching, I mean, especially the Bwipo montage after that, I was getting choked up, and I don't even know Bwipo like that. I've been following him since he was on FlyQuest. I knew a little bit about him beforehand, but I was getting emotional just seeing the amount of time that somebody like Bwipo has put into the sport. And especially in a league where it is competitive, but it is still. I mean, there was a similar amount of emotion when 100 Thieves lifted their first LCS trophy, because they were the little brother in the LCS amongst a lot of bigger named orgs, and now it kind of feels like FlyQuest just shook off that cocoon to bring it around to the FlyQuest kind of metamorphosis type ethos. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it feels like you kind of wriggled your way out of that cocoon as you're, you went from a very hungry caterpillar to a beautiful butterfly. I just read my son that before he went to bed. But now you're this beautiful butterfly, and we're fucking proud of you guys, man. I mean, as the official, unofficial FlyQuest podcast, we're proud of you guys, and we're so happy for you and the team. I mean, it's so congratulations to you and everybody, and thank you personally for backpacking the rest of the organization to a trophy.
Look, it's what I do. You mentioned 100 Thieves. I was there for their first win. I made their championship doc. I moved to FlyQuest. They win their first LCS. So I don't want to say it's me, but I also don't want to not give myself credit.
I mean, men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
I don't know.
I mean, listen.
I'm just pointing out, the dots on the plot. I'm not drawing any correlation. I'm just pointing them out.
We're not not a conspiracy. We're just connecting the dots. No conspiracies here. Just connect the dots, guys. That's all it is. But yeah, that's true. You might be the key. You might be like the Phil Jackson of League of Legends. You might be the Zen master.
It's just what the streets are saying.
That's just I'm just listening. That's all I do. I keep my ear to the internet streets, and that's what I'm hearing. But we'll go around the horn here, and we'll get back to you, Marc. But Tiggy, how are you? What you been up to? What you been doing? I know you just brought in a big trophy for yourself. Hopefully they gave you a trophy. But what else is new?
Yeah, we got a trophy. It's currently being finished up right now. They're putting our names, immortalizing us in victory forever. So we're excited about that. I've been golfing a little bit over the weekend, playing some League of Legends, and I tell you, I mean, I'm headbutting myself into the wall. I'm playing like Busio out on the Rift. Unfortunately, I'm in such elo hell. I got no Masu. I got no Masu to follow up. As soon as they insta lock Ashe down where I'm at, I'm like 0 damage coming. Okay, I'm roaming level 3, and there's not a thing this guy can do about it. So it's been tough. And sometimes you got to humble yourself a little bit. I've been doing that, doing a lot of video creation with this 50-day challenge thing that I now have to restart because I didn't get 6 hours of sleep last night. So I'm excited about that, and just really excited to watch League of Legends Worlds. I thought it was an incredible anthem, and just super excited for FlyQuest coming up next week. Yeah,
it's good. And we got a lot of NA representation. Obviously, we won't be watching FlyQuest for a little while. They got a couple more rounds of golf to get in before. No, they're in their EU boot camp right now, right? They were scrimming against. Who they scrimming against earlier today? I was just looking at it. Was it today or yesterday that they had some matches? But it's cool to see like NA and EU, keeping each other sharp, keeping each other ready to go. Bob, how are you doing? What's up? What's new? What's the weekend look like?
Hey, first of all, what's up, Marc? What's up, young blood?
Yo.
Congrats.
Thank you, sir.
What did I do? Oh, I played World of Warcraft this weekend.
Nice.
That's all I did.
Yeah.
That's it. I was I don't even think I had fucking plans to do anything. It rained, didn't it?
Nope. It just started raining today.
Well, whatever, it rained. And I played World of Warcraft. That's what I did this weekend.
Hey, that's respectable because that's exactly what I did.
Hey, guess what I'm doing this weekend?
Playing World of Warcraft?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything that I do this weekend is going to have World in the name. It's going to be watching Worlds, playing World of Warcraft. Definitely not playing League because I'm horrendous at it, and it's going to ruin my life. I
had to just uninstall the Riot client again because Vanguard blue screens my computer still.
Amazing.
So.
Hell yeah.
Thanks. All I want to do is play TFT.
I thought it was working.
No, it worked for a week, and then it started blue screen.
Damn. Well,
so thanks, Vanguard.
Yeah, 100 Thieves lost their play-ins versus R7, which is a Latin America team, 2-1. I didn't get a chance to watch the actual matches, so I'm not exactly sure how close it was, but I'm glad they took a game off them, and hopefully they can bounce back. It's not one and done in the groups stage, right? They got time, so. That's good because we need to bolster the defenses there. We need like Liquid and 100 Thieves to soften them up. So when they make it into the Swiss stage, FlyQuest will be ready to shred them up. As for me, I played WoW. I hung out with the kiddo. Let's see what else I do. What else did I do? I think that was it. Had some friends over, made some smoked some meats. That was it. I like cook.
Crazy. I have yet to get a single smoked meats invite.
Well, once. depending on how tomorrow goes, I will be likely opening my doors on Sunday. So if you would like to come by on Sunday, I'll keep you posted. But got a crucial thing happening tomorrow, and it's going to dictate the way the rest of my weekend goes. So stay tuned for that. But that was it. So back to Worlds Talk. FlyQuest, we're in there. Next Thursday is I think the kickoff matchup, but we don't know who FlyQuest is playing yet, right?
Not yet.
Okay. So getting right into it, obviously there's a ton of hype. I mean, the Heavy is the Crown video came out, the like Worlds 2024 kickoff video. Masu was like front and center. He's got the chain with the pendant. Like they got like all his signature kind of like mannerisms, the flow, lettuce for days. You know, I mean, they really did an incredible job with that all around. I mean, the arcane art style and stuff like that. I mean, it's just I don't know how you do any better than to get the hype flowing for that. I actually had an awkward moment in the office today where I was somebody was like, "Oh, that new Linkin Park song is actually pretty dope." I listened to it earlier, and I was like, "Oh yeah, it was in the World's trailer." And then I remembered I wasn't talking to Bob and Tiggy, so they were like, "What the fuck are you talking about? What is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's League of Legends, the esport." They were like, "Yeah." So anyway, I was like,
And then you found out that they were into Scientology too.
Oh,
That's
come
yeah,
on.
yeah.
"That's like one. It's it's one out of like 7 band members. All right, we can give them a pass."
Fuck Tom Cruise.
It's the greatest actor of our generation.
Hey, and John Travolta. Fuck them both.
Well, I don't
You can let
really.
him go.
I'm not as
Tom
big
Cruise
as
does
yeah.
stays.
I'm not as big of a fan of John Travolta's filmography, but I mean, Top Gun Maverick's one of the best movies I've ever seen, and I will ever see in my life. So I got to give him a pass for that. There might be something to it.
Listen, he wears lifts in his shoes. Fuck him and Scientology.
Yeah, but then he grabs onto like helicopters by himself with no cables, no support, no nothing.
Yeah. That's
You know
real
why?
easy for somebody who's 5'2".
You know why? Because his soul is so light and doesn't have any thetans attached to it, and that's why he's able to do all those stunts. So if he falls, he would just float.
Xenu came in and I don't even know much about.
That's
I
exactly
did
what it
watch
is.
that
It gives him the
documentary
levity
on
he
Netflix,
needs to not
like,
fall to his
a
death.
month or two ago. Yeah, yeah, that's
No, you just see one fucking strand of spaghetti coming out of the sky holding him up.
Yeah. It's
For the
like
spaghetti
Al dente.
monster.
it's like that poem, like the Catholic poem that's like, oh, it's like the footprints in the sand, except it's like there was one strand of spaghetti in the bowl, and that was where I carried you. But no, Xenu's not the spaghetti. Oh, the spaghetti monster's a whole different. That was in Massachusetts. That was
Same
around
thing.
our way.
It's all this. It's literally all the same shit.
I know, but that was around our way. That was somebody who said that they worshipped the flying spaghetti monster, and they had a colander on their head when they
It's
got
the
a.
same thing. Xenu, spaghetti monster. It's the same thing. Tom
it seemed
Cruise.
tangential to me.
Yeah, yeah, tomato. But anyway, so FlyQuest is coming right off their first trophy. This is still, I mean, people forget this team. Obviously, there's been a couple of pieces that have shifted, but like this core team is only like a year old. I mean, like you look at like the core of this org, the majority of the team has only had like 3 splits to play together. You've got spring and summer MSI and spring and summer last year, so 5 splits, right? Or 6 splits if you count MSI last year too. So they're such a young roster, and literally, I mean, the average age is what, like 22, 23. Masu's like 21. I'm like 15 years older than Masu, which is disgusting. And I'm never gonna be good at.
like 19 or 20 actually.
Yeah, the kid cannot
younger.
legally drink alcohol, and he's he's going on a world tour. So what is the mind? What would you say like the mindset of the team is? I mean, I know obviously you're not like on the coaching staff and stuff like that, and you're not like probably interfacing with them as close up day to day. But like, how are they feeling about going back into the international stage, playing with the greatest players in the world, and being back up against those names? Like, how do you feel like the team and the org as a whole is preparing for it and feeling about it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to put like words in like the players' mouths, but I think just from like if I'm speaking broadly, I think when we, made it to finals in spring and went to MSI, there was still kind of this air of like doubt around like FlyQuest when it comes to like, oh, are they actually a good team or not? Like, are they going to actually be able to perform? And obviously, I predicted last time I was on here that we were going to win MSI. I think it was pretty close for the most part. We don't need to go too deep into some of those matches, but what I will say, like, I think like since then, especially with like Quad coming in for Jensen, I know there was a lot of discussion around there, and
Yeah,
the team's like performance throughout summer and really like ramping up. I would say, obviously, like by playoffs, like the energy of the team seems to be really solid. I think the the core objective, like internally and even like externally for like this team was just like this idea of like growth and like scaling as like the year went on. And I think like we really kind of like see that. So, now that we're back at like an international tournament for like the third time this year, I think looking stronger than ever, coming off a championship, like it feels like a lot of the um certain amount of pressure is off, but like with us being like the number one seed, it comes with like a different kind of like an air of like expectation.
Yeah.
So I mean, from my perspective and from like the org perspective, we're like really really excited to represent like North America in this way, and I can only imagine that like the players are uh like excited as well. I know like Whippo and Inspire definitely, I'm sure that their return to Europe on like the international stage is going to play like a really big part into how much motivation that they feel. But it's just, I think, another chance for the team to really gel and show what they can do on a global scale. So I'm super excited. I'm sure they're excited, and the org as a whole, we're just super super stoked to be able to like go into this go into Worlds with like a lot of momentum. I
Yeah.
would say.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see you guys because obviously MSI, one, it was a different roster, different mid laner. You guys were running Jensen, and I think he was kind of there to kind of control the game a bit, a big leadership role. He's been well established for so long, and you bring in a guy like Quad from Korea who is so much, I would say, so much more mechanically gifted than where kind of Jensen's strengths were for that team, and I mean, it's not just a new roster. I think it's a whole new team that we're seeing now. I mean, second in the spring, first in the summer. And, I think there were a couple losses in the summer, but I mean, we saw it towards the end of the split where how dominant you guys were when you guys properly prepare. You know your opponent ahead of time and you're going in. I mean, you guys wiped the floor with 100 Thieves, and then you kind of dummied Liquid right after, and, it really made a point. And I think, I mean, it just turns out it was such a smart move that you guys have so much more mechanics on the bottom side of the map, and now Whippo and Inspired can kind of keep they can just kind of stay in their lane almost on autopilot because they don't have to worry about the mid to bottom lanes because of how talented those young stars are.
Yeah.
And they can do the proper things to set up success for the more macro part of the game, and they're taking on those leadership roles now. I mean, they're so well established. They've been here for so long. Inspired MVP, EU, NA, all over the place, and Blippo's just so tenured. So, I mean, it's so exciting this team is, and they are so new, but yet it's like you guys are playing with house money, but at the same time, the job done.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
And
it feels like the like winning the championship was like, oh, this is fucking awesome. Like what a moment to celebrate. And then like you let that like, marinate for like a couple of days, and then it's like right back into, to business, because now it's like that was the how do I say? It feels like it's a chance to show people again like what they're like really really capable of, and not only make like FlyQuest fans proud, but North America, because I think Worlds last year was like, I would say, the first time in a while where NA objectively was like ahead of EU, with NRG really having like a strong run.
Yeah.
But with them, kind of fizzling out like this year, especially, there's a lot of like question marks of like, okay, how good actually is the West right now? There's like a lot of kind of different like rankings that I'm seeing from like creators and like industry folk. And I really just want to know how it's all gonna play out. I think people for the most part still see like G2 as like probably the best like Western team. That's what it seems to be like across the board. But need I remind folks that what I think it was during EWC when we met G2, we almost beat them, and that was with Jensen on the team. So like, I don't know. I don't know. I would like to see that matchup at some point. I think it would be so fun.
I
to be
agree.
able to, like go head to head with them again.
I agree. I also think it's kind of like poetic that the World's 2024 slogan is "Make them believe."
Yeah.
That's like it's like they said it's a rallying cry that reflects incredible plays, legendary moments, and inspiring heroics that make World such an unforgettable event year after year. And we've seen such a huge surge in performance and popularity with NA, even with the rotation of orgs in and out, and like with this new promotion relegation system. Like regardless of that, like the NA like core fan base is growing even stronger.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to look at like LCS viewership metrics. I don't even know if like they've put those out or anything, but like it really feels like last year and this year are the ones where again like not just FlyQuest, but now you have 100 Thieves and you have Liquid in the mix, obviously, which are no joke. Or they're dead serious teams and they're very good. They're very good squads, and they're shaking that like little brother mentality
Yeah.
where it's like the West is always going to be inferior to the East, and they're not just treating this competition as a stepping stone or a learning opportunity, but like they're taking these flights halfway across the world to win. Like we're going across the pond to win, and we're going across the pond to take home the Summoners Cup, and that's the end of the story. And yes, there's going to be incredible learning opportunities. You're going to be able to rub shoulders with the greatest players in the world, the greatest players to ever touch the game.
Yep.
And like they're going to be able to have that even more exposure. But like even though FlyQuest and Liquid, I don't know as much about the 100 Thieves team, but especially FlyQuest and Liquid being like an average of 22, 23 years old, they're not just there as like the hors d'oeuvres, right? Like they're there to like be a part of the main competition, and I think this year is really where this is all kind of crystallized, and like it's all felt like this make them believe slogan fits really nicely with the way the LCS has evolved. I don't know how you feel about that. I mean, I thought it was kind of poetic, like the way that's kind of come together.
I love that you said that. It's something we were talking about like internally too, where I remember seeing, I think it was like an interview that had like Bwippo and like Core JJ on it. I can't remember the specific video, but they were someone was asking them basically like, oh, like who are you excited to like play at Worlds? And I think Bwippo answered like Fnatic because it was like his former team, and then Core said like, oh, like I guess like Fnatic, but like for me, like it doesn't really, like I don't really care who I face. Like I just want to win.
Yeah.
And coming from like a world champion, right? Like I think it was really refreshing to hear somebody who plays on a North American team just say that they want to go to Worlds because they want to win.
Yeah.
And anybody who like gives like Core like shit for saying that, I think is just like that's what upsets me, is because people always talk about how like the West or like NA is like a joke or a for fun region, but then we'll give them shit for saying that they want to go far or like win the tournament. It's like what do you want?
It's like which is it? Like, which is it, right?
It's like, don't you want like people to go and like take this seriously? And for me it was like really refreshing to hear that. And I think just even with like the context of the LCS this year, like what I love about like the top three teams right now is that each, like Team Liquid, us, and 100 Thieves all have like these young like North American players who have been like paired alongside some veterans from other regions that are now like starting to like hit their stride. We have like Yon and APA, who everybody was like talking shit about them like last year, and then now they're like the biggest APA and Yon fans because they're like, oh, it turns out like all you need is a little bit of time for talent to develop.
Yeah.
And same with us with like, Masu and Busio. And then even with 100 Thieves, like I know that there's like a lot of criticism around like their team play, especially like, from the games like earlier today. But like, mind you, this was like a team that nobody predicted would even like make it to playoffs, let alone like make it to Worlds. They have a last minute sub in like the 80 carry role with Tomo, and now they're making like a run at Worlds. So like, yeah, you can give them shit because they didn't look super great today, but it's like the growth is there. So like as an NA fan, like for me, it's exciting to see that like across the board for like the representatives for North America, like we're seeing a bunch of like new faces. And so that tying back to like make them believe is just like there's going to be a bunch of people doubting all the time. So we're playing from, even us as like number 1 seed, like we're gonna be playing from like a quote unquote like losing position in terms of like how the audience perceives us. So it's almost like, North America has nothing to lose for
Right.
the most part. So I'm really excited for all of it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, and I mean, there's some incredible young talent. I mean, you have Sniper on 100 Thieves, who I think, if I remember correctly, just broke like the all-time single season like kill record or something like that in the LCS,
Oh,
right?
really?
I think maybe it was playoff. I think it was playoff kills.
Yeah.
During that series against FlyQuest, and they were like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure he either just tied or broke the all-time like playoff kill record." And Sniper's like 21, and it's like, dude, we're like, and he's Canadian. He's North American, homegrown, and we, just like you said, I mean, this is. I think NA is playing with house money at this point. Everybody is like kind of happy with their position, obviously, and there's definitely big expectations with the 1 seed, and I think you're going to see a lot of teams that hopefully, you'll see EU teams and LATAM teams and, LCK and LPL teams that will be interviewed about, probably asked about NA or whatever, depending on how the matchups fall. And I think they would be stupid to not put some respect on FlyQuest's name, on 100 Thieves' name, on Liquid's name, because they have some really great squads, and they've earned their place to be there, obviously, but I think it's a lot more than that. It's the region as a whole really maturing, and it would be foolish to play down to them, I think.
100%.
Absolutely. I love too like the international events. I'm so excited we're getting a third one next year, like with 3 splits, because it's such a different play style. If you stay up late at night like me with just degenerate hours at 2 a.m. watching LCK some nights, and I mean it's 20 minutes before a kill happens. 4 dragons get taken, no kills. And I'm like, what is going on? And you watch an NA game and there's 10 kills in 5 minutes. So, and EU is just a kind of whole nother weird game as well. Everyone kind of has a different style, so it's such a cool melting pot of what we're going to see when we get matched up against these LCK teams, these EU teams and stuff, because honestly, yeah, there's a lot of film out there, but they're not used to playing that game. This year we saw kind of the return of lane swapping, which hasn't really been done in so many seasons ago. Like, I started playing 3 years ago. I didn't know what lane swapping was until that player show came out. And now we're seeing it in pro play, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what the show was. And my roommate Troy's like, oh yeah, they did this years ago.
You did the Leonardo DiCaprio meme. You were like,
yeah, I'm pointing at the screen like, oh my god, I remember this moment.
Wait, was there a time period where there was no lane swapping in League of Legends?
Oh, well, it's like lane swapping at the beginning, so the bot lane will go top lane and do like 2v1 up there. And I mean, from besides this year, so what, 2023, 2022, 2021, there was like no lane swapping when I was watching at all.
I feel old because back when I played in college, we lane swapped all the time. That was our big like, we fucking gotcha.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
and then we'd lose 45 minutes later.
Exactly. So yeah, I don't know if they just changed something with the towers, like with the plating up top or something like that recently, but now it's advantageous. We're gonna see random, invades and jungles and stuff. So it's gonna be so exciting to see that melting pot. But I don't know, like, I love the way we play compared to the LCK. The LCK is just, I don't know, it's so slow. They're almost afraid to make a mistake, and we're trying to gain every sort of advantage we possibly can. And sometimes we might overstep, but we're gonna take those risks because I mean we're the underdogs. We're punching up, and I think we're getting a couple shots in, and who's to say we won't make a lot of noise and potentially win. And I think it's a good attitude, like what you guys were talking about. And it's kind of the only mindset you can have, because if you don't have that mindset, why even play?
Exactly.
So true. So true. Is there anything else about Worlds 2024 that makes you feel old, Bob?
I just feel old in general.
That's true.
That's all. I had a couple of questions in regards to FlyQuest's Counter-Strike team, and I was looking at the ages of some of the players, and I didn't realize Vexite was 20 years old. And I just sit here imagining, what could I have been if I played these games at 20 years old competitively? But otherwise, for World stuff, no, it was just super exciting to watch. I was live texting Dom and Tiggy the whole time, Tiggy was who the fuck knows? Tiggy was probably golfing. Dom was probably taking care of his child at the time, and I'm sitting there typing away
Both.
like
Doing both. You saw my kid in the jersey.
Yeah, true. And I'm sitting there like, holy fuck, we're 3 minutes in and there's already 2 kills.
Yeah.
EU could never do this.
It's true. It's true.
And dude, I'm so used to watching professional League of Legends from fucking 10 years ago that's how everything was played. It was just farm, because people would play hyperstack champions like fucking Nasus or Scion when Scion used to permanently stack, or Vigar. That's how the games would be won in 55 minutes.
I didn't even know Scion used to permanently like stack. That's how.
This is how fucking old I am. Before his rework, his E ability, his shield, if you killed a minion with it, it would get plus like 2 HP every minion kill, or something, or like 5 HP or something like that. The more you know with old man Bob.
Bring it back. We need more stacking champions in modern League of Legends. Am I right?
Let's fucking no surrender it. Surrender gets moved to 35 minutes. Every champion stacks indefinitely with one of their abilities. You can't buy wards. No more wards in the game.
Yeah. League of Legends 2 is about to go crazy.
Hell yeah.
Crazy.
As long as it ends up being as good as Overwatch 2.
Yes. Legendary.
Truly.
Everybody knows that it went well, but I mean, it's been a big year for FlyQuest. I mean, we were talking about the CS team has had some bright spots. You had the the FlyQuest FGC community has grown so much. I mean, it's really been it's been a banner year for you guys. I mean, literally and figuratively. And that's pretty incredible. So, I mean, it must be, the vibes must be up all around. I mean, I can only imagine. And I'm glad to see that. Obviously, I mean, I joked earlier. I was like, not for nothing. I mean, we're kind of like the official, unofficial FlyQuest podcast. So, but like, it's been cool to like watch you guys evolve and metamorphosize. If you will. I mean, you guys cleaned up at Esports World Cup in the fighting game realm, took home two titles there. And then, you have the LCS trophy, and now we're going to Worlds, and, Counter-Strike's developing, and FlyQuest is on a lot of people's radars. So, I mean, do you feel like you guys are scaling up in that way too, where it's like, oh shit, like we're the real deal, and like, I mean, not that you didn't know that before, but, and also, your ownership group owns the fucking Florida Panthers, and they won the Stanley Cup. Yeah. So, dude, you have the amount of hardware that is coming into the big boss's front office must be something else. So
it's been awesome. Yeah, I think you're one of the few people to point out the Panthers being like our sister. Or we have like a Panthers like jersey like in our office that's there right now.
Vinny Viola must be rolling in it right now because he's like, hey, I don't know what this trophy is, but I'm so glad that we have it.
I'd imagine that's the case.
I
think it's really cool. Like I think like coming off of the Stanley Cup was kind of like we'll take that. We'll take that as a win.
we take those. We take those.
Going straight into like Evo and winning like those 2 chips with like Punk and Nitro, like pulling those off, and then straight into like an LCS championship. I know even on like the FlyQuest Red side, like our Valorant squad is like the #1 seed going into the last qualifier for their like world championship.
Yeah, and that's the all-female team, is that right?
Correct. It's
that's awesome.
Women's and gender expansive program.
That's awesome.
They're crushing it too. They've got an event coming up in a couple of weeks to try and qualify for they're the equivalent of their worlds. So I mean, for the most part, it's funny that you mentioned like I think the vibes are up, but the workload increases when you start winning shit. And because like FlyQuest historically has not ever really like really like won anything outside of like JMook like winning some like locals and like some majors. I think we're not really quite used to like handling like how much stuff kind of like comes in. The good news is like there's a lot of us at the organization who come from like different orgs who have like won championships before, so we're able to kind of like scrap some things together.
Yeah.
But like I think in a lot of ways winning also like exposes maybe a lot of like things that we needed to like work on internally of like being more prepared for like championship moments and how to capitalize and like taking that learning and making sure that we have our bases covered for like the next time we're making like a run in something. So
Yeah.
it's like it's pretty cool to see like how winning not only like just gets like the energy up and you know for like the players and like the fans, but also like internally as an organization there's a lot of like growth moments that come because you are exposed to new like I would say like problems of opportunity that you weren't able to like experience beforehand. So lots of like cool learnings I think that will help us, you know, be more efficient as an organization next year. Hopefully when we
Definitely.
win more championships.
Absolutely. Like I said,
So,
the best trophy's the next one.
so
Mhm.
we're like what 2.5 months away from the Counter Strike player break.
Mm.
Do you think the CS team is expecting anything during the WrestleMania season? Because
Mm.
I've been watching like I watch Counter Strike like fat old Americans watch baseball, and it's like the way I view FlyQuest is they've that roster like that main core roster around like Dexter, Liaz, Inns,
Mhm.
um, they've always been number one when it came to Oceania. They've always
Mhm.
been that like Australian team. Like I used to watch back when they were Renegades before 100
Yeah.
Thieves picked them up, before they
Yeah.
split into Extremum. You know, I followed that
Yeah.
whole procession throughout that entire time. And they've always been that team that's been like, we're never going to be last. We're always going to be due for one, maybe two good upsets.
Mhm.
But they haven't made a deep run. And they, besides some of the Oceania specific tournaments, but like the way I look at the roster is like you really do have two huge core components of it with Dexter, who's been at tier one for quite a bit of time with Mouse,
Mhm.
and then you have the 20-year-old Vexite potential next JKS.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I was just wondering, like, what do you guys do? You think there's going to be? I mean, roster mania. There's always crazy shit going on, but I've
Mhm.
always seen that old school Renegades Greyhound core always move around with each other.
Mm. Yeah, honestly, I have no idea. Only in the sense that like uh I think I'm pretty like new to like the Counter Strike space. Like I definitely when I was at 100 Thieves when the Renegades core went over
Yep.
there and that was like a super that was such a fun like roster to like be around. But then after that I never really got back into the swing of like really diving deep into CS. So as far as roster mania goes, I have no idea. But I think like when it comes to our team right now, I think you're right. Like they are like that, you know, that Australian like OS like number one like
Yep.
core. I think like we had a really strong like set of performances when they first signed. Maybe it was like the FlyQuest new org buff, and
Yeah.
then since
It
then it's
happened
been
it
like
happened
a
with
little
100
bit.
Thieves too when they got
Yeah,
signed to 100
yeah,
Thieves.
exactly. And I think it's like a it's tapered off like a little bit. But I think like when it comes to that team and like what we're trying to do in like the CS space, I think first and foremost is like really trying to create like the best Counter Strike team that like Australia has
Yeah.
seen, not only from like competitive performance, but just even from like marketing support and just
Hmm.
overall like fan presence. I feel like there's a lot of orgs that like go in and kind of like dabble like in and out. I think we're really trying to figure out what it means to like tap into that fan base and give them like an organization they can be proud of. It's very much like I would say um distilled as like a passion project of like Papa Smithy, who's, you know, obviously Australian himself and just wants to show love to like a scene that maybe just needs like a little bit of an extra push to like
Yeah.
really thrive, which is kind of like the FlyQuest mantra as a whole, with us getting into like fighting games and us trying stuff out with Metamorphosis.
Mhm.
It's like I think it's really all about just trying to support these communities that like we really fucking believe in, and just trying to get like other people on board. Like, hey, like this is like the real deal. Like, let's try to create something like different here.
I mean, it's also tough when you date back to like old school Renegades or old school
Yeah.
Greyhound, and they're stationed in Australia. You know,
Yeah.
it's tough for orgs of that size to put a team on a national stage, to ship them out to Europe for tournaments
Yeah.
or send them to boot camps in Europe. You know, they never really had that. So having the
Yeah.
experience and the availability for something like that now is, you know, I want to see that core continue to grow, and I want to see that core work. But if anybody from the CS, you know, if WrestleMania is going on, there's a lot of shit that's going to be happening coming up.
Yeah.
So anyone on your CS like acquisitions team, Falcons are going to be making some crazy fucking moves.
Yeah.
Sun Pius is going to be a free agent opper. I'm calling it because they're going to sign.
Well, that's
Sun
because
Pius.
Falcons has like a Scrooge McDuck-sized vault of money that they can just fucking pull
true.
out of. So
It's exactly true. They're gonna. So the current theory is they're gonna pay, I don't know, $4 to $9 trillion for Nico to sign Nico, and then somewhere from 9 to 8 trillion for Simple to come back out of retirement, which is probably gonna free up Dupree or Magisk, and then Sumpius. So if you guys need an opper, I would say Sumpius is always good. Granted, Alistar is a pretty consistent opper.
Mhm.
But listen, when you guys need the CS knowledge,
Come to your boy.
come to me.
speaking of oppas, we're really looking forward to. I mean, this is just a lot of excitement, a lot of excitement here. But yeah, Bob knows a lot
Yeah.
about CS.
Totally.
A lot of stuff to be excited about. Obviously, we got the new jerseys as well. And now, are we kind of? I know we've had like the Metamorphosis has been the design language and the theme. You know, for the last kind of year of FlyQuest. Is there a new one that's kind of that we're rolling into, or kind of what is like the theme or the kind of message between, you know, for this new set of merch that's rolling out and stuff like that?
Yeah. I think for like our fall merch line, for example, it was kind of just like an amalgamation of some like pieces that we've been like working on for a while. We wanted to see like what it looked like
Yeah.
from like a org perspective if we put out some items that were a bit more like experimental. Like we put out the Leaf Sherpa, which is like my favorite item.
It looks so cozy.
Like, yeah, when the sample like came in, I was like, holy shit, we have to. I was like, we're putting this on sale no matter what. Selfishly for me, just kidding. I think like this one was like less of like a themed drop. We wanted to experiment with like how like some traditional like apparel companies will just do like a fall winter like line that's not necessarily like a theme. It's just items that look good during like the fall and winter. So it was cool to see like some of the reception to that. And then I think when it comes to like the world's jersey, like in particular, I would say like this entire year we've spent like a good amount of time like dropping jerseys that were kind of like maximalist, right? Like the Atmos jersey with like the holographic, the MSI jersey with like the scales and like the golden TPU transfers, and then even the CS jersey itself was very like loud. And I think what we wanted to do a little bit for Worlds was build around kind of like the story of like our team for like a new campaign for Worlds, which will be launching next week. I won't spoil it, but we have some really really cool stuff.
Oh, anything you want to leak on the podcast?
There's gonna be a really cool video coming next week that will kind of kick everything off.
You heard it here first.
Like,
there's a video dropping next week.
It's I've seen the first draft of it. Next draft comes tomorrow morning, and it's fucking awesome. It's really fucking cool.
Right.
So it will be like thematically tied, similar to how like scaling up was like the whole like MSI campaign.
Yeah.
We'll have something similar for Worlds that may inform what we do going into 2025.
Hell yeah.
But the jersey itself was like kind of taking more of like a clean, like simpler approach, very much inspired by kind of like old school like Euro football kits.
Hell yeah.
I
That was
think
gorgeous.
It's
I've been just like
best-
scrolling through the shop, and it's gorgeous.
it's definitely like the best like quality jersey I think that we've ever made. Like material wise, like the way it sits on like your body, like it's a completely like custom built like silhouette that we were like testing over like months and months. Trying out different like fabrics on the collar, on like the piping, like the mesh. So it's really really sick. I know that there's a couple of call outs that some folks feel like it like deviates from kind of like the FlyQuest norm, which is like the super like heavily like illustrated or like patterns like
Yeah.
sitting on the fabric. But this is just like a different approach that we wanted to try out for this time around, and I think it works really really well with like a lot of different different pieces for just overall wearability. And we got like the world's jacket and pants and like the scarf to like go along with it. So I love this. Is like my favorite jersey so far. I feel like I say that every time, and it sounds like I'm being just like a an internal FlyQuest chill, but I truly do mean it each time.
I mean, yeah. I mean, and the track jacket and the track pants are sick. As an extremely Italian person, you put a tracksuit in front of me, and I'm gonna start salivating. So, I'm just saying that is just like 10 out of 10. I would eat cold cuts while wearing that.
100%. It's meant for that specific instance.
Imagine that, like with just nothing underneath it and just a gold chain.
Gold chain. Yep.
I would tan outside by the pool with the whole outfit on.
Yeah.
And just the V.
Yeah.
down.
Yes. 100%. 100%.
And a whole half a pound of fucking sopressata to my left.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Can't beat that.
Feed him my ducks like Tony Soprano.
Yeah, 100%. In the pool with all my clothes on. Can't wait. But yeah, I mean, the jersey is beautiful, and I like, it's nice to have there's this beauty and simplicity, and I think you have plenty of. Jay-Z once said, "If you want my old shit, buy my old album." So I mean, that's still on the shop if they want the more loud, like feature packed jerseys, you can still get them. And like it's not like you guys are like, I'm just we're getting rid of it all, like we're scrapping everything, and like you just get whatever you get. But yeah, you can still get them, and it's good to have a little bit of something for everyone. Yeah, it's great. So I'm gonna have to, and also the theme with the warm ups and the scarf and stuff, like the whole kind of like visual language that you're going with taking those cues from European sport is really amazing. So, and just that Sherpa looks so goddamn comfy.
Oh, dude, I'm waiting for mine to come in, man. The Sherpa's like, it's so sick.
It is pretty great. So yeah, if you need tracksuit models with like a little bit of chest hair, with some gold chains,
yeah.
I know you've already got pictures on the website, but I'm just saying, just ship it.
Do it for
Listen.
it's for
Got
the
a couple
diversity,
paisans
man.
here.
That's right. Ship it to us, and then we'll ship it back. We'll ship it back. But like, if you want to just a couple demo pictures, just to get a little kind of, you know what I mean?
No, we got to set up a whole like East Coast photo shoot. We got connects out there. So.
Yeah, you're looking at them. And Tiggy will just like meet you at the airport. Tiggy will meet you at the airport.
I'll pick you up.
Yeah, perfect.
I'll meet you in the air. I'll start in Phoenix.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, awesome. Well, I know we're coming up on time here, but really excited for FlyQuest here. I mean, we're pumped for you guys, and we're always pulling for you. So obviously next week we have the video to kind of drop the new moving into 2025 and beyond merch. We could do the podcast on Wednesday if you want to leak it on the podcast. We could do it on Wednesday or even like Tuesday. I'll make time if you want to leak it on the podcast.
I think the video should be out before Wednesday as the goal.
What time on Wednesday? Because
So, or
I'll
at
quit.
least before
I'll
this
quit my
time on
job.
Wednesday. So
All right. Fair
shit,
enough.
we might be able to like reconvene and talk about everything. That might actually be kind of helpful because there's gonna be a lot of similar to like how scaling up was like a few different like components to like the campaign. Hopefully that people will be excited about, and I'm sure we'll have like lots to talk about gearing up into everything. I can't wait to see what our group is, man. That's gonna be like the most exciting thing. I want Fnatic in our group. It would be so sick.
The storylines there would be immaculate.
It'd be so sick.
Bwippo putting down his old team.
Yep.
Need that.
Did Parker tell you how he lost to me in our video game presidential debate?
What? No.
We'll send you the VOD.
I wouldn't
ask.
either.
Please.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah. If I were him,
It was close. It was close.
Oh, no.
It was close. It was too close to call for a lot of it, but yeah, there's a lot to explain.
Wow.
Let's just say we had a video game presidential debate, and I am the video game president of the world. So
I've always supported you in that endeavor.
see,
and I always will.
I've always had supporters, baby.
Don't believe him, Bob. He's crawling out of the woodwork here.
Yeah.
As I'm like shrinking away.
Yeah. All right, let's land the train, shall we? Final thoughts, Bob, Tiggy.
Shout out to you. Shout out to Marc. Shout out to everybody at FlyQuest. What an incredible run that was. Truly, like the most entertaining, not Counter-Strike, the most entertaining League of Legends I've watched in a long time. And I'm old, and I've watched a lot of professional League of Legends. So yeah, that was really fucking cool, and I'm looking forward to whatever you guys got coming next week. I'm excited for it.
Can't wait for you to leak it on the podcast. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Absolutely. I'll leak it right now.
Yeah.
And that's all the time we got. Listen, I know that Viola is an Italian name. I don't need Vince Viola and his guys to come. We need unification in the Italian community. So,
100%. We're all we got.
Just tell him, I'm a nice Italian boy, and we'll, we can talk shop. But Tiggy, what do you got?
Oh, yeah. Well, Marc, thanks again for taking the time. Big fans, obviously, all of us of you, FlyQuest. I want to shout out Carly for the incredible jerseys. So excited to get ours. She's been doing incredible designs, and I've known her a little bit through like Call of Duty. She was with Call of Duty, LA Guerrillas and stuff, and I literally have multiple shirts in my closet that she's designed. So super cool to keep like supporting her kind of like separately in a sense, because I love FlyQuest as it is anyway. So it's kind of awesome that she's with you guys. And I even got the scarf because I thought the scarf was such a cool component, and it just goes, I don't know. We talked about the jersey, how it doesn't fit. I mean, it's in Europe. The whole tournament's in Europe here, the European soccer kits. You can wear them out wherever. And it's not even going to look like a gaming shirt. People are going to be like, oh, what club is that? It's like, oh, this is FlyQuest. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
So cool. Such a cool design. And super excited to get ours. So just thank you guys. So excited to see you next week. And hell yeah, go FlyQuest. Let's go Busio.
Let's go.
All right, Marc. Final thoughts. The last bit of runway is yours. Anything that you want to plug, link, anything. Now is your time. I
mean, I just want to say thanks to you guys again for having me on. It's always a pleasure getting to catch up. Super stoked for Worlds. FlyQuest.gg for all of the apparel and jersey needs. And then just be on the lookout for next week, because I think that's when things really start ramping up for us. Lots of cool videos and projects and everything tied to Worlds. So you can be sure that we're gonna keep the train rolling all the way until we win the Summoners Cup, man. It's gonna be fucking sick.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be us versus TL in the finals again for Worlds.
Damn, it's happening again.
Fucking amazing.
Winions bringing home the Summoners Cup, dude. That's
yeah, dude.
Imagine,
please.
imagine the scenes. But it's absolutely happening. I mean, we said it like a year and a half ago that FlyQuest was winning Worlds. We didn't specify when, and it's this year. It's this year. This is the year.
2024.
So be on the lookout, Marc. Thank you again, and thank you to everybody who's been in the chat. Thank you to everybody who's been active, resub, and following, all that good stuff. This has been episode 407 of Not Another Gaming Podcast. We love you so much, And we'll see you next week.
Fight.